Hello all, it's that time of year. It's the end of the year. I didn't plan any way to start this video. I don't have a script. End of the year, holiday season. I am recording this a couple days after Christmas, more like a New Year's video. While I originally wanted to wait until exactly a year into doing YouTube to make this video, I thought it was more fitting because of the year that I've had and my journey into starting YouTube and hopefully what will be a much longer adventure here on YouTube. I just thought it was right to maybe do an end of the year video, say goodbye to 2023 and hello to 2024. And with that, what we're gonna do is just look at the very few videos that I made this year and maybe talk about my experience here with YouTube so far. Quick little story time. I used to work at Home Depot here in Sacramento, and I ended up making a spontaneous choice to leave. It had just been the right time. A lot had been going on. I changed, people changed. I made new friends, lost some friends, even felt some heartache, but it was right. During this free time, I had been watching a lot of YouTube, like a lot of YouTube. One video that I came across was The Holy Hero or The Holy Superhero by Scott Kramer, and it's essentially a fun little walkthrough of the show Bibleman, which is a show I had grown up with coming from a religious family. And something about Scott just sitting there on the couch, having fun, talking about a show that he grew up with.
The weapon is this cool, glowing energy sword, a saber made of light, if you will, God's light. Yeah.
Really made me think about conversations I had had with my twin brother Brandon and how we used to really want to do YouTube back in the day. I used to want to do much more analytical video essay stuff like Thomas Flight, if you've ever seen his videos. Scott Kramer's video and his channel, after binge watching most of his videos, I'd come to the conclusion that I kind of wanted to do many things and maybe I would experiment with a few different types of videos. But in all, I just wanted to have fun on YouTube, whether it was something that started off as a hobby and maybe turned into a career later on. YouTube just felt right and I had the time to do it, so I worked up the courage. I bought my camera. I bought this very cheap microphone. Yes, I am changing the microphone soon. I'm aware it doesn't sound all that great. Maybe that'll be one of the new things of this upcoming year. While planning YouTube and getting things sorted out, I had conversations with my brother Brandon, and he decided he wanted to jump on YouTube as well. Make sure to go check out his videos. We've collaborated a few times, and I had wrote down some ideas of things that I've always wanted to talk about, things that were on my mind. And that finally brought me to making my first video, which took me a very long time to edit, and I finally published on July 29th of this year, 2023, and it was my pitch for a Spawn movie. David Bruckner, his most recent work, and it's probably the best comparison, would be his Hellraiser reboot in 2022. The reason I wanted to make this video was because, as I've stated in the video, there have been talks and there are plans of a Spawn movie made by Todd McFarlane and Jason Blum to finally reboot and bring upon the franchise. I've gone over this, blah, 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 blah. But these are the kind of things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about ideas and being creative with conversations instead of just like critiquing things or bashing things like some other YouTubers do. I just want to throw ideas out there. As someone who draws and I want to believe that I have a creative side, I want to use YouTube to venture some of those ideas. And this was kind of a practice way to do that. Now there's kind of a big elephant in the room for those who have been here since day one, the audio. Now I got way ahead of myself with editing and putting graphics and titles and visuals and whatnot into this video. But the one thing that I, for some reason, did not think about was the audio. I thought, you know what, I recorded it, it was in the video, it sounded fine while I was editing it, but that would not prepare me for what I would find out very soon after. So what ended up happening is I decided to watch the video on YouTube just to see how it looked, maybe if there was something I missed, even though I do rewatch my videos after the editing and during the editing process. So I turned the video on my TV and I can't hear it. I turn up my TV to its max, and for some reason I can only hear the video very seldomly, and it's very quiet, and I can't understand why. I asked my brother, he said he heard it fine on his TV, and I asked someone else, they said they couldn't hear it on their TV. I can hear it on my computer, but I can't hear it on my tablet. It was very strange. So I did some research and I found out that YouTube has a weird setting to where if in your editing process it's not hitting a particular audio level, it won't register properly on YouTube and your video will come out quiet. So for all my later videos, I made sure to crank up the audio. I made sure the audio was always the first thing that I fixed before cutting everything down. As much fun as I had making that video, I kind of regret making it because it's an idea I've had for a long time, even before YouTube, and it's something I kind of feel like I wish I held off on, maybe let the video grow a little bit and then get the idea out there with better audio, so on and so forth. But I do have other ideas out there. Maybe somewhere along the lines I'll just repost this video when I'm confident about it with better audio, or maybe I'll remake it. I don't know if I want to sit there for another 4 hours recording that video. Now, something that I wanted to do, and maybe I'll do this every year, is just go through a top comment of sorts. This video had one comment, as some of them do. Luckily for someone who was able to hear everything in the video, a channel by the name Onions Have Layers said, "Loved the vid, bro. I recently started getting into Spawn and I think your idea for the movie is fantastic." Well, you know what, Onions Have Layers? Thank you. I worked really hard on this video. I thought it was a good idea, so it means a lot. Thank you. Also, I'm gonna have to slide in the name here into the editing, but that thumbnail comes from an artist that I found on Pinterest, so thank you. It's actually in the thumbnail, but you have to zoom in really closely. So you still got credit, but again, for those who might have been curious, there you go. This isn't actually take over society as they know it. That's where we come in. And purely when I say we, I just mean the players, obviously. Obviously, I'm not saying I'm some kind of soldier. It's a game. But as the player, we play as Alex Cord in the 8th Armored Infantry. Yeah. But nicknamed Section 8 in real life. Alright, so for the next video, this one is probably my favorite video. Strangely enough, this video is one of the worst performing videos. Not that I get a lot of views anyways with a channel as small as mine, but this is sadly the worst performing video. Sorry, second to worst performing video. Still my favorite so far. Section 8 was a game that I explained in the video. I grew up playing, and the reason it's my favorite is not only do I think it's the best editing wise, but I think I had the best jokes, I guess, in this video. The pacing is really good. It gets from point to point. This hair is getting ridiculously long. I think this next year it will be time for a haircut finally. Anyways, but this video, again, kind of along the lines of wanting to play with a lot of different video ideas and styles, so on and so forth. This is the closest to Scott Kramer's Bible Man type video, I guess, where we're just sitting down reminiscing about something that I grew up with. In this case, it was Section 8. This video also was supposed to be a lot longer. I had a lot of other segments and I had some other jokes that just ended up not going the way that I really wanted to. Watching them over, some jokes just came off very strange, or still probably my favorite video of the bunch so far. And yeah, there's not much to say about it. So let's get on to this comment. Yeah, let's do that. There aren't any. Yeah. Again, I don't know. I thought this video would do well. It just didn't. I don't really know why. I thought it being a video game would help, and I thought, you know, it being a little bit more open and a little bit more energetic would help, but I don't know. Something about it just did not vibe with people. I actually even redid the thumbnail. If I can find it, I'll pull up the original thumbnail. Yeah, maybe it's the title. Maybe I'll rework that or something. But I was really hoping this video would do better. Let's just move on. Hansen gets news of the program from his captain after a small little mishap in an incident when apprehending a few armed suspects. At first, Hansen kind of... This video has a very special place in my heart for many reasons. One, it's about a show that I love. In the video, I think the way that I phrased it, I made it seem like I watched the show for this video, where it's the other way around. I watched the show at some point and I just fell in love with the show. Whilst, like I explained the video, it has its ups and downs. It's not always great, but in all, I just fell in love with it. So when I was thinking of ideas, putting this channel together, I just thought I had to talk about it. Again, it didn't do as well as I had hoped it would, because similar to the Section 8 video, I thought it kind of had that, I thought somewhere it would have had that catch, maybe that people would have enjoyed watching it. Maybe it's not long enough. It does kind of have a strange thumbnail, maybe something that I'll work on later. Again, not something that I can dive too deep into. There's not much to say about this video. I said everything that needed to be said. But there is a comment of this video that I rather enjoyed, and it was probably the first comment that really made me hopeful, I guess, about the channel. This comment was left by, sorry if I butcher this. Actually, I'm not even going to try to say that. I'm sorry. But it's up on the screen. They said, "Hey, I basically agree with everything in this video. I'm not really sure how I even found this gem of a series. I think it's because I was bored and looking at Johnny's 90s filmography and came across this. And it's so good. I watched all the way up to season 4 and then dipped when I realized Hansen isn't in the 5th season. Also, I decided not to watch any of the movies since I love the OG so much, and the movies are just supposed to be comedies that don't even make sense in the context of the OG. Excuse me. But I really enjoyed this video. I wonder why there isn't more hype around this show. It feels like it should be one of those well-known classic shows to me. But anyway, the only thing you didn't talk about is Booker, which honestly is fine since I can't stand him. They seem to be using him to replace Hansen at first, but then he got his own one-season spinoff. I haven't seen that either, but I'd love to see more video essays about this show because there is a lot to talk about, to be honest." Whew. Sorry, I probably should have read that ahead of time before trying that. No, funny enough, I did talk about Booker. It's not in the final edit, but I did watch the Booker show, what there is of it. And there was a draft of this where I talked about Booker, but the editing was taking a lot longer than I thought it would. And there was a lot of other things going on at the time. So I kind of just decided to cut that out and focus mainly on 21 Jump Street and comparing it to the movies. Maybe I will go back to Booker and make a part 2 of this, but I was kind of hoping this video would do well enough in order for me to do that. There's always tomorrow. We'll see. Another thing I did want to point out about this video is, so I kind of came to a realization. Obviously, I'm a new channel. I've only been around for about 5 or 6 months at this point, and I know there's no way to get ahead of the game this early on, unless I got viral or something like that. And with the view count that this video got, right after this, my brother Brandon, who also has a YouTube channel, kind of did a video that's similar to the style of videos I make, but he went over the 2 Spider-Man novels that are correlated with the Insomniac games. And that video blew up quick. Within the first week, it got thousands of views. Obviously, it's because of something that was more topical, and it was something that was trending at the time, so it makes sense why it did so well. But it just really made step back and rethink how I wanted to make these videos. Because while I really enjoy talking about things like Section 8 and 21 Jump Street, I realized that there's no community behind either of them. And it would be really difficult to try to push these videos when very little people know about them, let alone me having a small channel and not being able to spread the message about these hidden gems as much as I hoped. So I scrapped a lot of videos I had in progress, including one that I mentioned in a follow-up video. So while there are some videos that I have on a list from before, I'm going to just keep those off to the side and wait until this channel gets a little bit bigger so that those ideas have a little bit more substance behind them. And for now, I'll try to stick to things that are trending a little bit more. With that being said, let's move on. everyone. So just wanted to make a quick little video. I'm not recording at my usual hour, so I'm not really going to talk about the next video that I posted all that much, because what I was hoping to achieve with this video was, for one, consistency purposes, like me posting videos within a certain amount of like weeks or months or so on and so forth. Because the original plan, and what was easier to do while I was still in between jobs, is being able to shoot a video and edit and post a video once a week. That obviously ended up not happening because I'm posting these once to twice a month now. The hope was that I would try to use this video and some emails I was putting together to try to jumpstart an idea, but none of those emails ended up following through, and the idea just ended up not going anywhere. So this is just some random video that's kind of sitting on the channel, and I'm kind of debating if I really even need it there. A part of me just leaves it there so it looks like I have more videos, I guess, but in the grand scheme of it all, it's 5 minutes, and I don't know, I just don't think it really needs to be there. Let's just get to the next video that I can talk about.
Infected looking biocomponents are bulging out of her damaged shell.
So in the conversation of experimenting with videos, I really wanted to try to see, with what limited supplies that I have, just for a little bit of context, all I have for recording, and is probably more than what someone like me needs starting with YouTube, is I have this microphone, I have my laptop, and I have my camera. Okay, that's not entirely true. I also have a box light, but the box light came later as well. Anyway, so it's not a lot. I tried to shoot too big with a gaming video, because originally I was trying to shoot some gameplay of me playing the new Star Wars Jedi Survivor game. For streaming purposes and for recording purposes, I just could not get the quality that I wanted because I don't have a capture card, and I was trying to do it in a way that had it streaming from my Xbox to my laptop and then recording that, but the internet was not sufficient enough to pull all of that off, and I couldn't even record my reaction doing it because I don't have a way to currently set up my computer with OBS to do that right now. So what I settled for was a game that I could play on my laptop, and a game that was simple enough for me to knock out rather in one video for experimental purposes, or maybe do follow-up videos too. And I settled on a game that I had been wanting to play on my free time, but I just decided to do it for YouTube, which was SIGNALIS. SIGNALIS? I don't actually know how to say that, and it's funny because there's a part in the video where I keep calling it Signals, and then I finally see the main title page or whatever in the game, and I see the extra A in the name, and I go,
That was the girl in the picture. Signal. Oh. Am I that dumb? Was I calling it Signals this whole time?
Felt kind of silly right there, but I hope it made someone laugh. I had fun making the video. The only problem is I turned off the lights. I have a very small screen. I was sitting like this, so I was away from my computer. I had my mic all the way over here like this, and I had my controller like outreached like this the whole time. Okay, this is my controller. I had my arms stretched out like this, and I was staring at the screen. This is how I was playing for more than an hour. My reasoning behind that was so that you couldn't hear the clicking of the controller and stuff. Just looking back at it, I don't know, because there's even a part where I was doing a lot of reading, or I was like trying to solve a puzzle or something, and I ended up like taking a break from the mic. I put it off to the side, and I'm sitting here like this. It just felt very strange, and every time I was trying to work up to me doing a follow-up and a part 2, I don't know, I had no motivation to do that. So if I do another gameplay video, it'll probably be much later when I have better equipment, a streaming card. Maybe I'll do it when I have a big enough community to do like a Patreon or something, and I'll make those like a subclass of videos. A weird high-pitched noise outside. Again, the game was fun, and the video was fun to do while I was making it, aside from the fact that I wasn't really physically comfortable the whole time. But I would love to do gaming videos later on. Like I said, I would really rather wait until I can do it cleaner and faster. Maybe they would be something I would do for another type of community, or maybe even a second channel. I don't know if I want to do that, but we'll see. But for now, video game, like gameplay videos, let's plays, they're going to be pushed off to the side. There was a comment to this video. Funny story. I have a friend, and he knew I was trying to start YouTube, and he finally reached out to me a couple months into doing YouTube. And he had messaged me something like, hey, so when are you going to post your first video? I've kind of already been doing it. What? He was like so confused, and I was like, dude, I've been promoting my stuff on both my main Instagram account and my art account. I was like, it's been there. And the first video he clicks on is my gameplay video. And he says, you know, I've never been the biggest fan of the camera being that much overhead in games, but this game looks so dope. Thanks, man. Yeah, there is no top comment. It's just this one. But again, thanks, man. It was kind of funny. What arguably made Transformers the way that it is, Michael Bay. It's July of 2007, and the first Transformers releases, directed by Michael Bay, starring Shia LaBeouf, and Peter Cullen reprising his role of his longtime performance of Optimus Prime. When this movie came out, I wasn't even in the first grade yet. It was this, what I have to say about this video. I would say this video was my first true experience with YouTube. What do I mean by that? So, first off, it's the first video that took me way too long to edit. Like a ridiculously long time to edit. Probably the longest I've edited a video so far. The original footage was 3 hours worth of footage. Came down to a 42-minute video. On top of the fact that it had the most amount of graphics at the time, the most amount of titles, so on and so forth, high quality videos that I had clipped in that were taking forever to render in real time. And then, speaking of rendering, this video took a few tries to render. I think it was about 4 times that I rendered it. The first time, the audio was weird. The second time, some titles didn't pop up. Third, I forgot why, but then there was a fourth render at some point. I don't remember what it was for, but there was a fourth, and I do remember waiting all that time for it to render, and I watched it all the way through. And then one of the parts that I worked so hard on timing and visuals ended up just not rendering properly the last time going through. I'll put a little clip of it right here. And he gets the chance to revive Optimus Prime, which leads us to this beautiful scene of Jetfire sacrificing himself to make Optimus Prime all Omega level. Optimus Prime uses this as an opportunity, and in my mind, and initially when I was editing it, it looked so good and I was so excited for that clip, but it ended up just not working. And my brother even saw the video, and he messaged me. He's like, hey, like the title looks weird and it kind of cuts out. And I was like, whatever. It already took me so many times to get that working, and I got really frustrated with it. But you know what? As my dad says, there's no such thing as perfect. And I really took that to heart because I just let the video go as it was. And you know what? It kind of paid off because it was the first video that really got a substantial amount of views. Not that currently, as I'm looking at it, it's at 292 views. I know that's not a crazy amount, but compared to all my other videos that are roughly around 40, that's pretty good. Shooting it was tough because I started it really late. I finished really late. I think I went to bed around 3 o'clock. I'm sure there's other YouTubers that have been doing this a lot longer that are looking at this, or that would look at this and say, you know, that's part of the gig, which I'm sure it is. But man, was this rough all around. Me trying to shoot for promoting it on my Instagram accounts and on my TikToks, and I even made a little video that ended up turning into a short that I posted on TikTok and Instagram. Go watch that video. In retrospect, I'm not sure if I'm a shorts guy. I just don't know if it's something I'm gonna work all that much towards. It's just not something I've been super into. I've never been a big TikTok person. I've never been a big Reels person. I mean, I scroll through them from time to time, but I don't care for it all that much. So I guess that's why I don't really have the energy or the creative nature for something like that. The video ended up turning out pretty decent. I went through a couple different thumbnails. The original one that I wanted to do had an AI generated transformer that I tried to put together that looked like something correlated with my channel because he was orange and I have things that are orange, obviously. Can I just talk about this really quick? So this is Thaddeus. Super random. This is Thaddeus. You see him? My camera's not auto-focusing. That's great. So like I've mentioned, this is super random, I know. But it's fine. It's my video. That sounded so bad. Okay, so I draw a lot. Like to draw skulls. It's just something that somehow I try to incorporate into a lot of my work. And something that I've just noticed is, as much as I like drawing them, they were all looking really bad for a while. Why not just get one, you know? And his head comes apart. I ended up naming him Thaddeus for reasons I don't know, but I thought it was fitting. I tried to make some shorts where he disappeared for a while.
Thaddeus? Jesus.
It kind of correlates to something I'll bring up in the next video. Why I didn't get the attention that Visceral Games was probably hoping for. Oh, and by the way, what happened there? How did Army of Two, another video I wish I held off on, like the Spawn video, along the lines of many experimental videos I wanted to do, and this is just something I've been wanting to talk about for so long, games that should be remade. The whole idea came from Disney movies. I talk about it a little bit in the video. I have this big, I don't know, I just have had this big issue for the past few years about Disney remaking a lot of movies that just shouldn't be remade, or at least they're remaking the wrong movies. And I think a lot about that for video games and other movie franchises. But yeah, I grew up with a lot of these games that I've asked people about, or maybe I've played with friends and close family members. And there's just always like that, oh, remember this game? And oh, remember this and remember that? And no one else knows what you're talking about. But they've got these games that are being remade that sometimes you're like, why are they remaking it? No matter how good or bad it turns out, you're just kind of like, did that need to be remade? Did we need a remastered Last of Us Part 2? Let's see how much hate I get for that one. Oh, speaking of hate, just want to jump back to the Transformers video really quick. That was also the first and only video I have so far that has dislikes. I think I know why. It's probably because of how much I dissed the newer movies. But first video, not only that did the best, but had its first amount of dislikes. So that was interesting. Anyways, back to this video. I was really trying to make a video about putting ideas out there. A lot of these videos that I want to make, I want to try to get conversations rolling, and I want to try to get comments in and people talking about these ideas and maybe sharing their own ideas. But this video just ended up not doing that. It ended up doing the worst performing video I have, actually. It has a lot of comments, but it just does not have the amount of views that I thought it would get. I did 3 different thumbnails for this one. Current one that I have, I don't know how I missed it, but in all of the color editing and balancing and so on and so forth, I somehow missed that my hand is like this weird yellowish orange color. No, I'm not going to change it. I think it's kind of funny now. So in terms of top comments for the Remakes video, the top comment was left by Gamer Editor 59er22. Okay. And he said Battlefield Bad Company 1 and 2 should be rebooted along with making of the third. I am attached to the main characters and want a happy ending. Typing, dude. No, the reason why this was my personal top favorite comment was because, like I was mentioning before, I was trying to get conversations and ideas flowing. Is this video did accomplish that, I guess, to some degree. You know, someone did share and they told me something that they thought they wanted rebooted, and I really enjoyed that. Bad Company 1 and 2 were great games, and I feel like Battlefield has not been the same since those games. Obviously, they're bigger and more chaotic games, but story-wise, Bad Company 1 and 2 were great games, and they had great characters. So, what is fear? Fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or a threat. Fear is supposed to give you that feeling inside. This is another video that I'm actually very proud of. It didn't do as well as I'd hoped it would. The reasons that I am really proud of it are: one, it came out almost exactly how I initially wanted it to. Two, it's a lot cleaner than some of my other videos in terms of editing, and I did spend a little bit more time on specific things so that the editing came out better. But learning my mistakes from Transformers, I really put in all of the things that I had learned into this video in terms of like taking my time with things, not putting everything on the same timeline, so on and so forth. Learned some other YouTube things in terms of like attention grabbing, more specifically with the thumbnail and the title, because originally the thumbnail was more, I was trying to go for a more classical horror title, which I thought looked really good, but it just didn't perform all that well, and it had the exact same title as the video title. I think in retrospect doesn't always work all of that well when you have people reading the same thing twice. So I ended up reworking the thumbnail to what it is now, and some people didn't like it, but I thought like at first glance it looked different enough for people to maybe click on it, and it helped. It actually put the views up quite a bit. It's only resting at 50 views now, but you know what? I'm fine with that. One thing I was really excited about this video is it was my first more analytical video. Kind of got to do a little bit of a video essay of sorts, because I really do enjoy horror movies. Aside from a select few people I know, including my best friend, there's not a lot of people I can have conversations about horror movies with, because like I explained in the video, they're always expecting jump scares, whilst I don't always find jump scares scary, whilst I find something else more scary. So I dedicated a whole video to having that conversation, and I was able to blend in something from other topics that I had known about, like video games and such, because I was originally going to do a horror movie and a horror video game video, but while writing this I found a way to kind of blend the two, and I think it worked out for the better. I might do a video game one later on, but we'll see. For now, I actually really enjoyed this video. Do I wish it had more views? Of course, but I got it out on Halloween as intended. I was able to make that deadline. I was really proud of that, and I even posted it in the beginning of the day, so if there's anyone like me who doesn't really celebrate Halloween and we're just sitting home and maybe relaxing for the day, they had something to watch. Top comment. There was only one comment, but what a comment it was. Emily Batista 4373 said, why isn't, I know it's supposed to say, why isn't this getting more views? This is so cool. And I said, LOL, thank you. I'm glad you think so. And I am glad you think so, because I thought this is so cool as well. No, you know what? Thank you. Even though it's the only comment, it means a lot. I'm glad you appreciate it, because I appreciate you guys. And it was also about something I was really passionate about. So again, thank you. Glad you liked it. All right. Let's get on with these next two videos.
Or that he moved really fast. And I'm actually not even going to get into the whole teleporting thing.
The Assassin's Creed video. So this video isn't bad. It was fun to make. Brandon and I had been wanting to find a video on my channel to do for a while. Whilst I was pretty sure it was something we were going to do on his channel, somehow it ended up being something we were doing on mine. I think it was because he already plays a lot of games on his, and he wanted to do the gameplays on his channel. We ended up kind of doing the conversation aspect here. I was actually having a thought that maybe somewhere in the near future, him and I might just do a podcast that's in this style, or something that's more in person and personal. But he's got kids and all kinds of stuff he's dealing with, so that might just have to be a conversation for a later day. Anyways, the Assassin's Creed video, while I did have a lot of fun making it, editing it was frustrating because of how long it is. There was a lot of topics we ended up cutting out, and a similar issue I'll bring up with the Spider-Man video is we spend way too much time talking about suits. I wish we got more technical with the gameplay stuff in terms of conversation, but I don't know. Looking back on this video, this is just not something that I want to do that much more of unless it's a game him and I can really talk about gameplay wise. In all, it was decent. It didn't get a great viewing. It's actually probably the lowest at 26 views, and it only has one comment. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's all I can really say about Assassin's Creed. Let's move on to
One more thing I want to say before we get started.
Okay.
I'm fresh out of honey.
Can you tell that I'm not super excited about talking about this video? Can you tell? Can you tell? First off, we didn't film this when I initially wanted to. I wanted to film this like a week and a half before. Brandon, yeah, I'm blaming this one on you. Yeah, you took too long, my guy. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, it did take a little longer than I had hoped. So there was a lot of like editing stuff that made me try to indicate that like, yes, we did talk about this 1 month after Spider-Man, but it ended up coming out like a month and a few weeks after Spider-Man. Again, we ended up spending way too much time talking about suits, but to be fair with this game, the suits were a big conversation. Even when I noticed while we were editing that there's a part in the video where we tried to elaborate that further on in the video. We're going to be talking about good stuff and exciting stuff. But when we get to that good and exciting stuff, we talk a little bit about what we liked about Venom, and then we just talked about suits again. Granted, I was trying to find a way to segue into the suits that I challenged both him and myself to design for the game, but we ended up spending too much time talking about the suits. And the one other topic that we did get really into that I ended up cutting out for audio reasons was about Silk. We talked a lot about Cindy Moon's role in the future game and how her appearance makes any particular sense in this game. Sorry if I just spoiled it for anyone. And again, for audio reasons, I ended up cutting it out. And there was a lot of like rambling. Like we get really distracted here and there while we were talking about it as well. So I guess it was kind of for the better. Strangely enough, I was like super excited to film this video. But when we got to it, I ended up just having no energy to talk about this game for some reason. And all of the good things that I could think about, I ended up not bringing up in this video. I even wrote things down. Brandon and I had conversations about the game as we were playing it, but when it got to recording, all I could think about was talking about the suits. Why were we talking so much about these suits? Anyways, editing this video. Not only did this video have the most amount of assets I've had in a video so far, but all of these were high quality assets. I'm filming. It might not look like it, but I'm filming at 4K and I was trying to render it at 4K. It's almost a 2-hour long video. And then I didn't account for how little storage memory wise that this laptop has. So I was rendering it and rendering it and rendering it, and it would always get around to like 70-80%, and then it would just stop. Keep in mind, every time I rendered it, it was 7+ hours. I rendered this video 16 times before I finally got the finished version. And in the finished version, like in the Transformers video, for some reason there were some assets that ended up just rendering wrong. And I don't know why, because I even proof watched it before I rendered it each time. It also just took a ridiculously long time to publish this video. It really didn't need to be that complicated. So for future reference, until I get a better computer, until I get more storage, until I get more equipment, videos like this are just gonna have to take, I'm just gonna have to take a break from this, because was that stressful. But I don't know, I have like this strange love-hate relationship with this video, because it's currently the best viewed video. It's at 299 views. Granted, I think it has to do with the title. Also, just during Christmas, Brandon pointed out that like 3 days before I published this video, someone else had an almost identical thumbnail. This was totally unintentional, but the placement is so similar and it's so specific, and he published his video before mine. And what's strange is that I actually made the thumbnail around the same time he published his video. So it makes me look really bad. But Brandon showed me, I was speechless. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know whether to be frustrated at myself or be petty towards this other creator. I'm just joking. It was just crazy because I had sat there and I did thumbnail sketches for this thumbnail, and somehow it still ended up identical to someone else's thumbnail, and still doesn't even technically work because in some instances the time card covers up the Spider-Man logo. Anyways, I'm rambling, but yeah, there's just so much disdain I have for this video now. Editor, me here. I just wanted to say that there was a top comment for this video, and I just kind of forgot to talk about it. It was left by Ronnie Fazio 6979. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I probably did. They said Insomniac could very well make Cindy Moon into Venom, and I just thought this comment stood out a lot, and it was an interesting idea considering what Brandon and I were talking about in the video. Yeah, and a lot of the other comments were just people ranking the game or kind of correcting us. So I did kind of want to just throw in that this video has the most amount of comments, currently at 499 views and climbing. So that's always cool. But yeah, back to the video. But yeah, and that's where we're at so far. I just wanted to say, getting a little real with you here, okay? Oh, do you like my strugglers? I'm a struggler. Scott Kramer merch. Can you tell I'm a Scott Kramer fan? I've talked about this on Brandon's channel before. I do have dreams to being in the film business. I've never taken the right steps to get there, and for now, while I can, YouTube is going to be my medium or my way of kind of expressing myself on social media until I can get to that point. My message to you all is don't wait until life takes a turn on you, or don't wait to, just don't wait to do things. If you have an idea, if you want to go do something, if you want to go make something, it sounds easier than it is to actually do it. I'm serious when I say go do it. If you have an idea, make it a reality. If you want to go shoot a movie, go shoot a movie, no matter how cheap or bad it might be. If you want to draw something, draw it. If you want to, go tell someone you like them, go do it. Don't wait on stuff. I waited too long. I know that sounds strange coming from a 24-year-old, but I waited. In retrospect, I regret it because this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and if I did it when I was originally thinking about it, things would probably be much different. Do what you want to do in the best way possible. I mean, don't go do bad stuff, and be you. There's a lot of creative people out there, and they just way too long. I didn't mean for this to get all sentimental and weird, but it's coming from the heart and I really believe it. So, and with that being said, it is the end of 2023. I'm hoping I'll be able to post this video before the end of this year. It might come out in the beginning of 2024. I'm currently shooting this on Wednesday, December 27th, and it's 11:52. As of right now, so we'll see. But we're saying goodbye to, quite frankly, a shitty year. Fingers crossed for this next one. I hope you had a great year, and I hope you have an even better 2024 and an even better 2025, so on and so forth. But I have more video ideas, so stay tuned, have fun, stay healthy. Again, let's say goodbye to 2023 and hello to 2024. To all of my two-legged, four-legged, and even six-legged friends, yeah, I know you're out there. I hope you have a beautiful day, night, whenever you're watching this. Peace.